very tricky and critical. It's important for us to obey all the non-pharmaceutical measures as far as protecting ourselves against the COVID-19 pandemic is concerned. A number of restrictions been announced by so many states. And that tells you the dire situation that we find ourselves at the moment. It's freshly pressed this morning. Time to take a look at the headlines on the national dailies. Good morning. Thank you for joining us this Thursday morning. Freshly pressed on Fresh 107.9 FM Abeokuta. The Punch, The Guardian, the pen-pushing newspapers, The Tribune, The Premium Times are the options available to us. As always, Wale Bakari is my name. Good to know you're there joining the program this morning. It's exactly a day to Christmas. The daily's crawling with so many headlines, quite a number of them that we'll be talking about. Irebami Stroyinka is my analyst, will be joining me on the program in a couple of minutes. But let's very quickly take a look at those headlines for you to look out for. The Tribune has the latest numbers as regards the COVID-19 pandemic. 1,133 new COVID cases. Total now 80,922. That's on the Tribune this morning. The breakdown, we'll get into it in a moment. The Guardian also with the latest numbers as far as the COVID-19 is concerned. As the numbers continue to rise across the country, states announcing new restrictions. The Punch says Ogun, Ondo, others renew restrictions, suspend carnivals, crossover services. That's on the Punch this morning. The Premium Times, they also have the latest numbers as far as the COVID is concerned. Talks about the new variant, talks about what government has to do on many of the dailies this morning. While Nigeria's new cases surge, Kogi yet to report new infection in 175 days. That's on the Premium Times this morning. We know what the situation was with Kogi State even during the what we call the first wave of the virus. While Nigeria's new cases surge, Kogi yet to report new infection in 175 days is on the Premium Times this morning. But the COVID-19 getting a lot of attention on many of the dailies this morning, especially with the Yuletide and the call from various governments saying there is a need for us to be careful at this time. Coronavirus, Governor Abiodun suspends carnivals during Christmas celebrations. That's on the pen-pushing newspapers this morning. A number of other reports aside COVID-19. ASU may resume strike in February. Varsity unions war over 40 billion naira. That is on the Punch this morning as well. 5 arrested for killing dismembering Ogun housewife. Motorcyclist is another on the Punch this morning. The Guardian with some other headlines to look out for. Ganduje, Masari, Yaya, Autumn signed 2021 budgets into law. Army kills 16 bandits. Parade 66 suspects is on the Guardian this morning. The Tribune, presidency raises alarm, says some disgruntled politicians plan to use an online media to smear Buhari. That's on the Tribune this morning. That particular report is on a number of the dailies this morning. Disgruntled politicians planning smear campaigns against Buhari presidency. You'll find it on the Punch as well this morning. It's right there on the Tribune. Also, 2023, let your children lead your campaign. APC tells Kwakwanso is on the Premium Times this morning. A number of political stories in many of the dailies this morning. APC headquarters nullifies Amechi's suspension, threatens sanctions. Is also on the Punch this morning. Telcos begin back-end integration into NIMC database. Is on the Punch as well this morning. There are a number of them to look out for this morning. We'll take our very first break and return in a moment to talk about some of these headlines. Don't go anywhere. It's freshly pressed this Thursday.
I dey think, I dey think, I dey think, oh, I dey think. Where the load go come from? I dey think, oh, I dey think. I look up, I look down, I see phone for my hand, eh. Oh yeah. Express for express load, na sure banker, oh, eh.
Hard life no dey pay anybody o. That na why EcoBank land with Express Loan. Loan wey everybody fit get wey dey save with Express Save. Dial star 326 hash to open your own Express Save account today on top your phone. Bang bang bang, you don open am. No wahala. And with Express Save, you go fit get boku chance for Express Loan.
Express Save for express load, na sure banker, oh, eh.
EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank.
Babe, I can't believe I won't see you again till next week. I've really missed you.
Nah, I miss you more.
That's impossible because I miss you more.
Me, I miss you like Ilode.
Oh my. Wow, babe. We've been talking for like forever. Oh yeah. Time to hang up.
No, you hang up.
Okay. Let's hang up on 3.
Okay.
1, 2,
3.
3. You didn't hang up.
Neither did you, Joe.
That's because I don't want to stop hearing your voice.
Aw, babe.
Your pillow talk doesn't have to end when you talk all day long for just 11 co per second to all networks. Dial star 311 hash to get talking right away.
Glow Unlimited.
Thank you for staying with us. Freshly pressed this Thursday morning on Fresh 107.9 FM Abeokuta. Wale Bakar is my name. Thank you for being a part of the program this morning. Time for us to get talking as far as all these headlines on the dailies are concerned. Mr. Iribami Shoyinka is in the studio with me this morning. Good morning, Mr. Shoyinka. Good to see you again.
Good morning, Wale.
Good to have you.
Too. Yeah.
Yes, the COVID-19 numbers is on the Tribune this morning. Very, very worrying. Nigeria confirms 1,133 new COVID-19 cases. Total now 80,922. That is on the Tribune this morning. Just to give you an idea of what the breakdown looks like of this well over 1,000 cases reported by the NCDC. Mr. Lagos at 397, the FCT 357, Kaduna 81. That has been the order in the last couple of days. Plateau 63, Katsina 46, and then there's Sokoto with 32, Oyo 28, Ogun 21 new cases, Kano 19, Rivers 18, Osun 13, Edo, Niger 12 each, Bayelsa, Borno 11 each, Bauchi 8, Jigawa, Ondo 2 each. A number of people that have died from the virus now 1,236. That's 5 more than the previous 24 hours. And then a number of those that have been discharged, 69,274. The number of active cases in the country is now 10,412. And for some reason, I continue to talk about the number of active cases because I am particularly worried as to how quickly these numbers rise. I'm sure I've said it on this dial one time. About 2 weeks ago, there was a time the number of active cases in the country was already down to 2,000. And in the space of 4 or 5 days, we're talking about 7,000 again. And it just goes to tell us how quickly these numbers can rise. Well, with the numbers rising, a number of state governments have been renewing restrictions. Ogun, Ondo, others renew restrictions, suspend carnivals, crossover services is on the Punch. The pen-pushing newspapers it says coronavirus, Governor Abiodun suspends carnivals during Christmas celebrations. Well, just to take a peep into what some of these states are saying, the Ondo State government on Wednesday said it had cancelled the crossover services in churches across the state between December 31st and January 1st as part of efforts to curb the spread of the second wave of COVID-19. The government also postponed the resumption of pupils in primary and secondary schools from Monday, January 4th to January 18th, 2021. The chairman of the Ondo Interministerial Committee on COVID-19, Professor Adesegun Fatusi, said this in Akure, the state capital. The same situation, of course, they've banned nightclubs, relaxation spots. They say they must not open beyond 10 p.m. Picnics can operate, but in open space and adherence to COVID-19 protocols, while anybody above 60 years of age with existing ailments are strongly advised to remain indoors. That's Ondo. Now, Ogun. The state government on Wednesday announced the suspension of street carnivals and restricted attendance to crossover services, parties, and similar gatherings. Governor Abiodun also directed all civil servants and other government workers to proceed on Christmas and New Year holiday from Thursday, December 24th till January 4th, 2021. These were contained in a statement by CPS, Mr. Kunle Shomorin. The directives were issued on Wednesday after a meeting between the state government and religious leaders as well as community leaders. According to that statement, in order to stem the spread of second wave of disease, Abiodun advised that there should be no gatherings of more than 50 people at any event or ceremonies such as conferences, congresses, office events, concerts, seminars, sporting activities, crossover nights, end-of-year parties, weddings, it goes on and on, street carnivals and all, until further notice. For Kwara, they say that they're now imposing a lockdown between 12 midnight to 4:30 a.m. Strict enforcement of face masks. Worship centers are not to allow congregations exceeding 50% of the maximum capacity of the venue to allow for physical distancing. That's in Kwara. FCT shuts bars, parks for 5 weeks. Restricts churches, weddings. We won't lock down Plateau is on the Punch as well this morning. The Plateau State government Wednesday said there was no plan to lock down the state over the second wave of COVID. The government said this in just during a meeting with stakeholders, including local government chairmen, traditional rulers, religious leaders, and so on. Well, Ekiti imposes new restrictions. Edo reintroduces curfews, shut schools, staff below level 12 to work from home. That's according to the National Assembly. It goes on and on. A number of new restrictions. Well, for a state like Plateau that's saying they would not lock down. Incidentally, when you look at the numbers, they also have about 375 active cases. I know that Plateau is at least in the top 10 of those states with active cases. But why they would not lock down, you never can tell. Maybe they of course, plan to enforce other measures. Plateau, for example, yesterday was the fourth highest number of cases, 63. But let's talk about what we've been forced to do. What states have been forced to do in the last couple of days, announcing new restrictions, having to some of them go back to those restrictions that we had, in the thick of this virus. And there's only one thing it tells you. It is all because we continue to say it, although everyone is somewhat guilty. Not everyone, but almost everyone is guilty as regards dropping the ball, taking our eyes off the situation and losing guard, we could say. And here we are with these numbers rising. We've spoken about street carnivals and all of that, but there are some who say that until we begin to enforce the use of face masks strictly, we might still be kidding ourselves.
That is why the governor of Lagos State said you risk 1 year jail term if you fail to use a nose mask in Lagos now. Lagos, I don't know, they've been complacent with it, with the use of nose mask. I have to say it here. I come that state almost every week before the Christmas break, and when I go there, I feel like a stranger because I'm almost just 2% of people I see in that area, in that vicinity where I am at that moment, using the nose mask in Lagos. Even when the governor had the COVID, there were some still saying it's malaria the governor had. I think Nigerians are just being complacent. If Nigerians want to be locked down, well, it's good for them. You take responsibility for your health. The governors have the money, have the resources to travel out of the country, to take care of themselves, to get the best hospitals in Nigeria, to take care of themselves. So we as people should ensure that we take responsibility and take our own destiny in our hands by using our nose mask every time. I think the restrictions are necessary. I must confess, the governors have done well. The restrictions are necessary. The crossover nights, people should cross over in their house. We should pray in our house, various houses. The restriction on churches is okay. 50% of your capacity is okay. Just to create social distancing and know that this second wave is, according to information, is deadlier is more contagious than
Well,
even the first wave.
there's no information suggests that it is deadlier, but
Yes,
at least
but
it
it's
is more contagious.
more contagious
That
than the first wave. So we should take responsibility and make sure that we don't become complacent with this virus.
At the end of the day, just like we've said over time on Fresh 107.9 FM, it is that if you find a situation where your state governors are left with no choice than to come up with these new restrictions, lockdowns and all, it is because you as a person, collectively, we've decided not to obey the guidelines, and the numbers have risen. If I'm sure in states where the numbers, well, just a few states though, in states where the numbers haven't risen, they've not have to.
But Wale, what baffles me is that some people still believe the NCDC or the governments are just creating numbers. I will tell you, I was going through Twitter yesterday, and an award-winning investigative journalist said the number of tests that have not been of what did you call it now? The samples that have not been tested at all in FCT alone is huge. And someone in Ogun State here was corroborating that even the samples that have been collected for 3 weeks, in the past 3 weeks, have not even been tested in Ogun State. You can, because people, maybe the resources are not there to really carry out the test as quick as enough, as early as possible. So that means some people are still having this virus. They don't know, and they're still spreading it. So the best thing is to use your mask everywhere you go and every time. It's for your own safety, Nigerians.
All right. It's right there on many of the dailies this morning. 1,133 new COVID-19 cases. Total now 80,922. There's also on the pen pushing newspapers, Governor Abiodun suspends carnivals during Christmas celebrations. That's on the pen pushing newspapers this morning. Let's run along from that very quickly. Our data not breached, says NIMC. That is on the Tribune this morning. There were a number of reports about the server of the NIMC being breached or crashing. Well, the National Identity Management Commission has debunked claims that its database is breached. It said investigations on the alleged data dump were found to be non-existent in the National Identity Database. This is contained in a statement issued by the Commission's spokesperson, Kayode Adegoke, in Abuja. He said, I quote, "We would like to bring to the attention of the members of the general public that the purported breach of the National Identity Database going around the social media is false and a mischievous intent. The NIMC would like to assure the public that there have been no such breaches or incidents. Investigations on the alleged data dump were found to be non-existent in the National Identity Database," the statement partly read. Well, the rest of that you'll find there are laying the fears that their data had been breached. The NIMC saying our data not breached. That's according to the NIMC. Speaking of the NIMC and this old registration and linking to SIM cards, telcos begin back-end integration into NIMC databases on the Punch. This morning, the mobile network operators in Nigeria have started the process of back-end integration with NIMC's database to facilitate the validation and verification of digital identities as well as the enrollment processes. The Association of Licensed Telecoms Operators in Nigeria, in a statement issued on behalf of the telcos on Wednesday, said integration would increase the capacity of both databases. The statement, signed by the chairman Alton Gbenga Adebayo and publicity secretary Damian Ude, informed subscribers that there could be inconsistencies in data captured and they would notify subscribers when such happens. The association said all operators had established various systems to enable subscribers with existing NINs to integrate it into their SIM registration profiles. According to Alton, options deployed for customer ease and convenience include USSD strings, apps, and other self-service online portals, walk-in stores, and customer care lines. Well, the rest of that is on the Punch this morning. When you talk about this linking the issue that we've had, the generality of the preponderance of complaints is especially for those who don't have their national identity numbers already. For those who have their NINs, just like the telcos say, there's been some short codes, online ways of linking them. Although some of them you just do them.
I've been able to do mine effectively.
So. For those without the NIN, the issues continue to rage. Scores of people continue to throng NIMC centers. They are not attended to, not all of them. Yesterday I had the NIMC head of operations there. He was talking about as of yesterday, around 10 o'clock, there were about 600 people, trying to register at the NIMC Center in Okemoso.
Wow.
And he was telling me that only about 200 of them could get registered on that day.
That you see other probability.
That's the best case scenario. And that tells us what the situation is. A number of Nigerians have spoken about funding, spoken about a number of systems that they use, how quick the network is, and all of that. These are some of the issues that we faced over time.
I think it is too close. The Minister of Communications didn't consult well before he came up with
Is it possible he came up with it on his own? I'm sure there might have been.
While he's at the front burner, so he's the one we can pin to this. I think he didn't consult well. The BVN, that's how, if you take for instance the BVN issue, that's how it started. Go for BVN. Up to this moment, if you want to open an account, you still do your BVN. So it's not that these things people cannot do. But I know because of the issues of insecurity in the country, yes, it's good. But we can still give at least 3 months. 3 months notice, at least. Within 3 months, if you don't get your NIN, then you are creating problem for yourself. It is a good measure by the minister. It's a good thing by the laudable stuff by the minister. But I think the deadline or the
timing.
The timeline is just too little. It's just too short. I would have suggested he give it 3 months. Within 3 months, get it done. And because if you look at the Lagos issue too, the NIMC in Lagos was shut down. The crowd was that you mentioned in Ogun State about 600. It's not possible for you to attend to even 200 in a day. It's not possible. The day I went to do mine, we were only about 50. And it took me, I spent about 1 hour, 2 hours before I could get registered for my NIN.
All right.
When we had over 50 people of us on ground that day.
Well, the deadline as released by the federal government says, I think for those without their NIN, it is the deadline is supposed to be...
It's January. January 19 or something. It's about
January 19
yes.
For those with NIN, but February 9 for those without NIN.
Yeah.
But we'll see how it goes. And there was remember it was supposed to be December 30, and then there was a review. Maybe that would happen.
Maybe there will be a
again.
review again. I want to suggest that.
But one has to say that as
Within
far as
3 months.
registration for NIN is concerned, there are a number of people who haven't registered. Although some officials have also blamed the lackadaisical attitude of Nigerians, saying this has been on for 8 years. A number of us didn't take it very seriously. The NIMC head of operations told me a very interesting story yesterday about a paramilitary outfit that was working in the same office with the NIMC, worked there for about 4 years, and then
never took it serious.
didn't get herself registered. That sums up the whole situation. But we'll take a very quick break and return with some more headlines. Don't go anywhere.
Ọkọ mi, ṣé bọ́ọ̀sì yìí ti kún ṣá? Ṣẹ́yìn awakọ̀ ló jókòó sí? Ó yá pé nọ́mbà ọkọ̀ yẹn fún mi.
Màámi, ẹ má ṣe yọnu.
Dá mi lóhùn o jàre. Ó dà tí ẹ ṣe fídíò kọ̀ pàápàá kí n ráwakọ̀ yín ọ̀hún.
Kò lè tó yẹn màámi. Ṣùgbọ́n o màámi, ẹ̀yin náà má ti mọ bó ṣe lọ gan ni kẹ̀. Fídíò call kẹ̀.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni kẹ́, àtìgbà tí mo ti bọ́ sórí òpó ìbánisọ̀rọ̀ Airtel ni mo ti ń gba dátà lọ́fẹ̀ẹ́ nígbàkúgbà tí ń bá rówó ìpè tí pè mí nílẹ̀ yá àti sókè òkun sì ti di kọ́bọ̀ mọ́kànlá péré fún ìṣẹ́jú àáyá kan.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni o, máa bọ̀ lórí òpó ìbánisọ̀rọ̀ Airtel lónìí kí wọn náà bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí gbádùn gbogbo ìpè rẹ ní kọ́bọ̀ mọ́kànlá fún ìṣẹ́jú àáyá kan pẹ̀lú dátà ọ̀fẹ́ ní gbogbo ìgbà tó bá ra owó ìpè. Wàá sì tún gbádùn ìlọ́po méjì dátà fún oṣù mẹ́ta lórí àtẹ ìbánisọ̀rọ̀ tó ní agbára 4G tó gbòòrò jùlọ. Ó ní ìlànà àti òfin o.
Wọ́n sọ fún awakọ̀ yẹn kó ṣe jẹ́jẹ́ jàre.
Màámi,
Airtel, the smartphone network.
One passenger. Big auntie. Come and enter my bus now.
Hey, conductor, this cough is serious. Abeg, you need to go to the hospital.
Hospital? Auntie, if I go hospital now with this cough, those people will just say I have COVID-19.
No, they won't. Doctors say cough symptoms are different in every condition. Some are dry, others are wet, like your own.
God bless you, auntie. I have told this my conductor. The cough has refused to go, and it could be tuberculosis.
Conductor, check am o. Make you dey sure, because who no go, no go, no.
Check that cough for tuberculosis.
If
if your cough is more than 2 weeks, it could be tuberculosis. TB tests and TB treatment are free. Just call the National TB Hotline on 3340 for information on where to get the test.
This message is brought to you by Ogun State Tuberculosis, Leprosy, and Brule OSA Control Program and National TB Control Program Global Fund Project.
bínaba gorí ilé ìmọ̀ fẹ́jú tuntun ni gbogbo ẹ̀yin ọ̀kúndùn bankẹ́jẹ́ tẹ́ lè ṣe kẹ́ ẹ̀ má gbẹ̀nẹ́ gorí ọ̀tà ẹ̀ má fa ìlàkàsí jàmúkú sìgá síbikíbi tẹ́ ẹ bá ti rí kẹsìrì pẹ́ paná rẹ̀ kú fínfín má gbà pé tàbí fínni lọrin nílé epo àti gbogbo bí tẹ́ni tafẹ́fẹ́ gáàsì ẹ̀ má kànáà lùgbó ẹ̀ sì má dáná sunlẹ̀ níbikíbi tó ti lè jájò náà àníri jàǹbá ọkọ̀ epo ṣùgbọ́n tó bá ṣẹlẹ̀ ẹja jìnà síbẹ̀ kétékété ká sì dẹ́kun mímọ́ fínà fóònù rẹ̀ epo sínú jẹnẹrétọ̀ ẹ̀rí ìdájú pẹ̀ ń panu ọ́fíìsì àti inú ilé nígbà tẹ́ ẹ bá ti nílò rẹ̀ àti tán bá mọ́ná lọ ìjáfara léwu láti máa fi láìtà kándù ìṣáná sàròótọ́ àwọn ọmọ kéékèèké àní ṣòfò ẹ̀mí bẹ́ẹ̀ la ní ṣòfò dúkìá ẹni bá létí kó gbọ́ dènà ìṣẹ̀lẹ̀ ìjàmbá náà ìtanijí wá láti Fresh 107.9 FM Abẹ́òkúta.
Thank you for staying with us. Still freshly pressed this Thursday morning at Fresh FM Abeokuta on Twitter. That's how you get your thoughts across to us. If you're watching live on Facebook, feel free to drop your contributions. ASU may resume strike in February. Varsity unions war over 40 billion naira is on the Punch this morning. Comes with a number of riders. FG promises 30 billion for varsities revitalization before January, says ASU. Lecturers don't have monopoly of strike. We will ground universities, unions. Prevent future strike, honor agreements, parents association pleads with federal government. Now, the Academic Staff Union of Universities on Wednesday indicated that it might resume its suspended strike in February if the federal government fails to implement agreements it signed with the lecturers. The national president of ASU, Professor Biodun Guyemi, disclosed this in an interview with The Punch in Lagos while shedding more light on the decision of the union to suspend its 9-month strike. But while ASU ended its industrial action on Wednesday, non-academic unions and universities threatened to go on strike over 40 billion naira earned allowances government promised to release to all unions. They described the sharing formula for the money as unfair. Recall that ASU had on March 23rd begun a nationwide strike over the federal government's insistence that all its employees must register for the IPPIS or IPIS. Although government argued that IPIS was meant to eliminate fraud, the union said that it should not be applicable to universities on the grounds that it violated their autonomy. In the alternative, ASU developed the University Transparency and Accountability Solution, UTAS, which it said would meet the peculiarities of universities. Until Tuesday's meeting between the two sides, they had disagreed over UTAS, which government said would only be adopted if it tallied with the IPPIS. There were a number of other demands, setting up a visitation panel for universities, payment of earned academic allowances, and revitalization of infrastructure in the universities. Ogunyemi said if government reneged on its promises, members of the union would not hesitate to withdraw their services. If you go further down that story, federal government, according to him, the federal government promised 30 billion naira for varsities revitalization before end of January. He said government promised to release, or before the end of the month actually. That's on the Punch this morning. But the other unions, ASU doesn't have monopoly of strike, say unions. The other unions, they're saying that they signed a memorandum of understanding. NAT is that at least NAT? That's the Union of Technicians, I guess. They are saying that they signed a memorandum of understanding with the government on November 15, 2020, where it was clearly stated that government would define what each union would get from the 40 billion. The representative of the union said, "My union is asking that our own end allowances should be specified, just like they did to ASU. If nothing is done, we'll close down the system until we are fairly treated." Well, towing the same line, SANU National President Mohammed Ibrahim said that his union would not accept what he called the lopsided sharing formula. Non-academic unions reject 40 billion naira sharing formula, says ASU doesn't have monopoly of strike. In the midst of all this, the Parents Association, National Parents Association of Nigeria, Danjuma, has pleaded with government to honor the agreement it reached with ASU, saying that another strike will not be great for the country. It took 9 months before this was resolved. Well, this is something that is not entirely new as far as this, should we call it, bickering between the unions. I remember that there was a time, it was in NASU that was on strike, and this issue of academic end allowances came up as well, the sharing formula and all of that. And that's exactly what we're seeing now. On the other hand, ASU, they're saying if you don't live up to your own to your end of the bargain, we won't hesitate to go back on strike.
Yeah. The federal government should live up to expectation. They should fix the universities. This kind of virus COVID-19 period that we are, the universities should be up and running. Researchers should be up and running in our public universities. But what's the state of those laboratories in our public universities? Has the government really committed itself to putting in place things that will make these universities run effectively? It's not about money all the time. I think ASU also, beyond the salary that ASU is clamoring for, I think they also have a good point. Revitalize the university system. Let us fix our universities. Many the vaccines that we are seeing today were products of universities.
Oxford, Cambridge,
universities worldwide. So what is our own universities here doing? The government, that's what should be topmost in the eyes of a responsible and serious government, to make sure things are running in our universities. You always say that ASU, the lecturers want to go on strike, they are fighting for their salary, and that's the picture you paint to the public. Yes, are they not parents? Are they not family? Do they have families too? They will definitely fight for their money. If it is money, they will fight for it. But you to do your own part, and let us know that it's ASU that is not doing his own part by not teaching the students well, by selling handouts. If their universities are selling it, it should be stopped. If lecturers sell handouts, go and write a book, go and write a textbook, and recommend the students go and buy instead of selling handouts. I will support writing a textbook. Do your own part. Let lecturers do their own part. Teach effectively. Teach the students as at when due, and let the government also fix the laboratories, fix the computer rooms, the lecture halls. If you see, look, my university, OU, that's where I finished from. If you see the state of that university when I was there, it is terrible. The government, I don't know, the lecturers were terrible. I don't know about now. It's been long I went there. But I think if I go to there's other public universities I've been to, I've seen the state of those universities. It is appalling. The government is not doing anything. The government should live up to expectation, live up to its responsibility by fixing these laboratories. Look at UNILAG. The VC should come out to tell me what is in the laboratory in UNILAG. Many of these universities are run by the Alumni Association. They are the one helping these universities, not even the government. You'll be surprised. It is the Alumni Association. I belong to one, so I know. Are the ones helping these universities. So if the government is not doing its part by fixing the laboratory, fixing the universities, and just blaming the lecturers for fighting for their salaries all the time, it is not fair. The lecturers have families to feed as well.
Well, hopefully, this other issue of the other unions is something that will nip in the bud, because we know what could happen. Especially, of course, this is strictly money. Yes, it's strictly sharing formula. And
it is always like it's just like these health unions too. When the doctors come at the enemy, you see the other unions in the hospitals also USC and say they want to fight for their own allowances too. So it's normal.
Anyway. Presidency raises alarm, says some disgruntled political elements plan to use an online media to smear Buhari. Is on the Tribune, is on a number of the other dailies as well. The presidency on Wednesday alerted on what it said was a smear campaign in the works against President Muhammadu Buhari and his office by disgruntled political elements in the country who have been shopping for pliant online media that will serve as accomplices in their nefarious acts. This is contained in the statement issued in Abuja by Femi Adesina, with special advisor to the President Media and Publicity, in which it alerted the general public that the game plan is to launch orchestrated campaign of calumny in the days ahead, in which President Buhari would be portrayed as not being in charge of the country. A narrative already started from a procured offshore medium by the instigators. The statement added, money and other attractive inducements are being dangled before the online media, and some of them are already complicit, cooking up stories with genuine and unsubstantiated allegations, all to sow seeds of discord and discontent in the country. Nigerians are urged to be wary and discerning in what they consume as news and special reports from such online media, as they are in cahoots with agents of destabilization seeking ultimate political gains. It goes on and on. It's on the Tribune, it's on a number of the dailies. Presidency raises alarm, says some disgruntled elements plan to use online media to smear Buhari. That report is on the Punch as well. Mr. Adesina in that statement spoke about nobody's in charge. This is something that we've heard a number of times. A number of people have said it, that no one is in charge. And these people that make these statements, they say they look at the situation in the country, security, economy, and a number of things, and they come up with this assumption and all. But at the end of the day, some would argue that maybe what the presidency or the presidential team should be doing is, getting the right information out there to Nigerians. At the end of the day, yes, you could, a number of disgruntled elements, as they say, could do whatever they want to do. But I think Nigerians are smart people, and they can, look at things and know what the true situation is.
Wale, you said it, that what the presidential team should do is to come up with information that will prove the disgruntled elements wrong.
Whenever they
decide to come up with anything. Because if someone is in charge truly, we should see it. Nigerians should see it. We should feel it. Security-wise, you know me. I've not. This government is below average. This administration is below average. Security-wise, below average. Economy below average. You heard what Financial Times said about the country being a failed state.
Getting to
a failed state. What the presidential aide, the Femi Adesina and the Garba Shehu are coming to say is just to debunk and to look. I don't know. Speaking as a spokesperson, I've always said it. Let me reserve that. Being a spokesperson is a difficult job to do, because you need to lie and use lie to cover up lies. It's not easy. If you think that job is not easy, to be a spokesperson, particularly if the principal is not really.
So a spokesperson has to lie.
Yes, he has. No. Wale, you are in this job. We are in this business together. A spokesperson.
What business exactly?
Journalism.
Okay, I thought you meant the business of lying.
So you have to lie at some point to portray your principal in good. Even when he's not doing well, you have to brand him. That is what Femi Adesina should busy himself with. I'm not looking for one disgruntled element and we Nigerians to collect money from those who want to support the online or offshore, whatever media. What you should do as presidential aide is to come up with ideas, things that your government has done that will prove these disgruntled elements, if they come up with anything, prove them wrong. That is what he should busy himself with. You see a Garba Shehu and a Femi Adesina replying tweets of people, opposition on Twitter. Are they too free like that? What I think they should do is what are you doing? What is the president doing? Give us what the people who consume. Give us propaganda. If that is what you know how to do best. The likes of when Jonathan was there, Lai Mohammed came up with several information that made us fall in love with the APC. Maybe they should go and learn some skills from Lai Mohammed.
A number of people have also criticized, Mr. Lai Mohammed for his styles.
But he did it well during the Jonathan period. Maybe they should go and do that. They should portray the President Muhammad Buhari in a good light to Nigerians, and then let Nigerians decide if they will consume whatever is coming from these disgruntled elements or not.
From them. All right, let's take a very quick break and talk to you in a moment. It's Freshly Pressed. Don't go anywhere, please.
I think, where the Lord go come from. I think, I look up, I look down, I see phone for my hand. Oh yeah. Express for express load, na shop bank
Hard life no dey pay anybody o. That na why EcoBank land with Express Loan. Loan where everybody fit get, where they save with Express Save. Dial *326# to open your own Express Save account today on top your phone. Bang bang bang, you don open am. No wahala. And with Express Save, you go fit get boku chance for Express Loan.
Express Save for express loan, na shop bank
EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank.
When the desirable becomes unavailable, then the available becomes the desirable. Now, the desirable is here. Brought to you by Aquifer Water Technical Services. The days of installing problematic boreholes are over. Aquifer is here to make your desired dreams of installing boreholes in the most seamless, technology-facilitated way a reality. They pride themselves on high integrity and professionalism with accurate and impeccable underground water survey. Their boreholes and installations are with up-to-date technology. You can also count on them to help you maintain your borehole to make it long-lasting. All their equipments are from overseas. Do you have a borehole that is giving you issues or you want to install a new borehole? Contact Aquifer Water Technical Services today at OM68, second floor, Omida Shopping Mall, opposite Omida Market. Telephone 0803-521-9273 or 0815-568-7878. Aquifer Water Technical Services. We excel in borehole technology.
Thank you for staying with us. A number of headlines are for you still to look out for on many of the dailies. Removal. Nobody told me my offense, says ex-CJN. Honoren is on the Punch. Amotekun killed UI student, attacked union leaders. Nance alleges. That's a particular issue that has been in the news for some days now because investigations are still going on into those killings. 0815-432-1079, 0818-111-1079. Those are the numbers. 0815-432-1079, 0818-111-1079. At Fresh FM, Abeokuta on Twitter. If you're watching on Facebook, drop your contributions. Quite a number of them in already. We'll get to them in a moment. Hello, good morning to you. What's your name? Where are you calling us from?
Good morning.
Good morning.
I like you to know my name.
Talk to us. Go ahead, sir.
On this 999, they are not serious, my dear brother.
Who is not serious?
In September, my child went there.
Okay.
To have the 999. They asked me to go and bring 5,000. 5,000. And you remember.
Where exactly? Where exactly, sir?
In September,
Are you talking about the Okemoson office?
Okemoson, yes.
They told you to go and bring 5,000 naira.
5,000 naira. And you remember that the team leader going around the stage, to come and to have the stage to help them, to give them money, to recoup their offices. And how do you want to do it? Even look at their instead of them to increase the outlet. You have only one. You have only one, two in Abeokuta. About three local governments are using it. People from okay, we come here.
Well,
how do you not get this? They are the ones that are not serious. That's
all right. All right.
The federal government should come out in lifetime. The school needs funding.
All right.
If they cannot fund it, they know the fact that they fund, and then their problem that they don't want to increase the school fees. And they don't.
All right. Thank you very much. Well, okay. About the NIMC thing that he said. Okay. Well, I'll get to that in a moment. Hello. Good morning.
Good morning, Wale.
Yes. Good morning. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Okay.
I greet the guests.
Talk to us.
Let me say this: the present crop of leaders under Mr. Buhari is the kernel of the matter I want to talk this morning. You see, this kind of leadership leaves much to be desired. If you are telling me that somebody wants to smear your name and then you are saying through or via technology or whatever, I wonder how much of technology any Nigerian are able to do and then being committed to our efforts. Yet, we are thanking, yet people are not thanking, the presidency is not thanking us for bringing out many issues that are supposed to be known to all, where they are hiding and lying every other day. You can imagine those people when they told us it was just 10 people that was abducted. Later they will now find that it was 3 or 4. You see, all these things
he has apologized
are
for
not anybody's name at all.
He has apologized for it.
They are ready to continue to fester in lies. I wonder.
All right, thank you very much. Mr. Gabashiru, apologize for that statement, but I'm sure even he knows that the number of Nigerians will continue to reference that situation. Good morning to you.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah, good morning. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is Victor from Ethiopia.
Mr. Victor, okay, go ahead.
Actually, I want to speak on behalf of the Amotekun member that killed a UI student.
Well,
I want to advise.
That's not a statement you are going to make authoritatively. You know that somebody killed someone.
That I want to advise the Amotekun that
go ahead.
not be overruled.
They should what?
They should not be overruled the power instead of going to be committing this crime. To commit the crime for now is early because they want to. We are using this. We are using this system in order to protect the Yoruba member. So we don't need. They don't need to commit crime for it too early.
Okay. Well, there should never be any time where there should never be any time where crime should be committed, whether it's too early or it's too late by anybody.
I think the people, the governors should call them to the Amotekun people to order. What is the crop of people that have been inducted into that corps? They should know their state of mind and all of it before they just give them the ammunition.
Good morning, my dear brothers there.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Compliment of the season.
Yes, thank you. Go ahead. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Jimo Akera.
All right.
Jimo Akera. I'm calling from the better.
Talk to us.
That information put out by Femi Additional is very timely. Some people want to collude with outsiders to bring down Nigeria.
Okay.
God will not allow them to succeed.
All right.
We must all join the government to ensure that we bring about the country of our dream.
All right.
We should not be trying to bring this country down.
All right.
No matter the condition we are in, no matter the challenges we are facing. Good morning.
Good morning. Hello. Good morning.
Hello. Good morning.
Good morning.
Ola Animashawu is the name calling from Abeokuta.
Good morning.
I need also look at this thing. Still on the NIN and the BVN. There is this thing. A lot of things are circulating on the social media.
Okay.
But there's this particular one that has been circulating since yesterday, saying that once you have your BVN, you already have NIN.
I saw that too.
Well,
I saw it too.
Well, I just to quickly clarify that, Mr. Marshall, the NIMC head of operations was here yesterday, and he said that when people get registered for BVN, they have a shadow national identification number. So according to him, you would have to complete your registration at the NIN office. He said that not all the information taken by NIN were taken, while you registered for BVN. So you'd have to complete your registration, and then that shadow number becomes active. And that's what that was the explanation for some people who said they've never visited NIMC offices, but when they pressed the short code, they got a number.
In essence, you still have to get through to NIN.
To NIMC, yes.
To get an appropriate NIN.
Yes.
That is it. People should clarify issues. They shouldn't confuse people on the social media. I don't think it's appropriate. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
I saw that information too yesterday. And
hello, good morning.
Yes.
Good morning.
Follow up to that report. I don't know why.
What's your name? Where are you calling from, please?
Yesterday.
What's your name? Where are you calling from?
I am Babarere calling from Abeokuta.
Okay.
I did ask you yesterday. I asked you yesterday that there were some reports, going on in the country that you, in your comfortable house, get in touch with either any of the service providers. But you said you have done it. But I was asking the man to, give me such information, but you never did.
It doesn't work for the telcos. So it works for the NIMC. The telcos will answer questions about the telcos. But like I said, there are a number of short codes that have been reeled out by some of this. I think about 3 of them that I know that have reeled out short codes. Some of them say that you can do it via websites, and I've tried to, and it worked. So I'm just saying you can also, try it. It didn't work. It doesn't work for the telcos, so there was no way we would have given you that information.
But you said you did it, and it worked.
Yes, that's that. I just said that too.
Why can't you now, give such information to me when I was asking?
I thought I did yesterday.
No.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that. Well, I've done it now. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. I thought I did anyway. Well, I have now.
At least I did one on one website of a telecommunication network that I use, and I did one through via USSD as well too.
Yeah. Good morning.
Yeah, this is Nicholas from Madibuta.
Good morning, James and Nicholas.
This second strain of this COVID, has it landed Nigeria?
Well, we don't know. You mean the variants that they are talking about? We don't know.
Yes, because if it has landed and we are forced to gather at different NIMC offices, is that not a way that this COVID will spread? Don't you think so?
It's something that has been raised by virtually everyone.
Then, secondly, we see that the country is almost getting into a failed state. What are the internationally known ways to change the failed state outside a revolution? Since this house cannot impeach the president. Because we have been talking since this year. I think it's high time we follow the nationally laid down rules to restore the state.
All right.
Revolution is not a way to restore a state. Revolution is not the way.
It cannot be the way to restore
it. It can never.
We have a democracy.
Yes, it's a democracy, and the government, just like the Minister of Information and Information said, the president has been democratically elected and will serve his term. Then, come 2023, Nigerians should come out with their voters card
and then make up their mind. Well, there's also that part when you talk about the lawmakers, they represent the people. Although some would argue that they don't see them, very often.
I don't even know the House Assembly member from Wabel South.
It might be your fault.
It may be my fault.
But if there are people that really want the president out of office, then they should speak to their representatives.
Absolutely, you're right.
Raji Abidemi says the suspension of long-term ASUU strike is a welcome development. However, government should kindly shift more attention to our educational system, as the future of any nation is purely embedded in the quality nature of our education. Honorable Ademolake says another lockdown isn't desirable, as this can spell further doom for the already distressed economy. At this stage, strict enforcement of the safety protocols is what we advocate. It is our collective responsibility to stamp out this virus. Humanity will eventually win. Shegun Bogi says, we thank God ASUU finally suspend strike, though conditionally. I think there should be a law legislation that will always compel federal government and labor unions to always obey any agreement reached during negotiations. Merry Christmas, it says.
Very good one.
Deadline for NIN registration will be reviewed again. That's quite inevitable, since we, leaders and followers, all love fire brigade approach in the country. Will all these new COVID measures be thoroughly monitored? They better be, or else we'll continue playing to the gallery. Our Korede Camille. Edon Abayomi says Kogi didn't lock down the last time and Evans did not fall. Other state governments should learn a thing or two from Kogi before another panic-driven lockdown. As for the unending strikes, the panacea should be no work, no pay. Ayon Toyinbo says Femi Adesina appears to always defend what's not defendable. Nigeria is in state of confusion and deplorableness is so pronounced. What do they think they are covering away from us again? We are not fools, he says. Olakomilari says, happy to hear that ASUU has suspended its strike. The most important thing is the sincerity on the part of federal government and ASUU so as to prevent another unnecessary strike. Facebook, Iman Allen says, good morning, guys. We agree totally with the analysts. The deadline should have been at least 6 months. Anything less for a nation of over 200 million people is crass display of malady and common sense deficiency. It goes on to say, after all, the SIM cards are not made to expire. It is government policy that renders them to expire. So we think the latest renewal scheme is a diabolical and sly way to raid people's... it goes on and on. I'm not sure. Well, it goes on and on. It says, it's a pity that Mr. Adesina, former editor of National Super, is supposed to seem super... Well, I'll just end that there for some reason. Raji Hafiz, okay, I read that on Twitter already. That's the program. Mr. Shenka, thank you for your time. Thank you for your views.
Thank you so much, Wally, for having me.
Enjoy your 24th of December is a day to Christmas. Like I said, please wear your face masks in public. Protect yourselves. Have a Merry Christmas. Good morning.
From the rock city of Nigeria. Rock city of Nigeria. This is Fresh 107.9.
Okile falafala.
Fresh 107.9 FM.
Lábẹ́ Olúmọ, ó ṣe dáadáa gan.